When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. You're thinking of selling your current home? Let me put my expertise to work for you. Just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Hey, volleyball families, get ready to serve up some fun at the Wautiki Spike-tacular Volleyball Tournament, February 13th through 15th at the Box Elder Event Center. Experience high-energy matches, glow-in-the-dark games Friday night, and exciting play all weekend long. Compete in 14U, 16U, or 18U divisions for a shot at the trophy. Stay and play with 25% off rooms at Courtyard by Marriott and water park passes included. Register now at thebox.live. Building your Black Hills dream? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs has you covered. Top quality materials, product expertise, all your building needs in one place for materials and services. Just stop in or start at BLDR.com. That's BLDR.com. Builders First Source. Build it.
Being in business has its rewards as well as its challenges. It means being the first one in the door in the morning and turning off the lights when you leave at night. Your business is unique, and you need a bank that understands your needs. You deserve the best. You need a financial partner that is invested in your success. You need Pioneer Bank and Trust. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
This Wednesday, prepping for Week 10, including the Arizona Cardinals, who are going to start Jacoby Brissett against the Seahawks on Sunday. And don't expect to see quarterback Kyler Murray for a while for Arizona.
Today, Kyler's going to go on IR. Feel like that's the best thing for him and for us. He's not fully healthy, ready to go yet, so that makes the most sense. Right now, what he's going to concentrate on is getting healthy.
That's Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon, as Murray will miss the next 4 games for Arizona with that foot injury. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy limited in practice today. Rams come to town on Sunday. Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua should go against San Francisco, according to head coach Sean McVay. Texans have ruled out quarterback C.J. Stroud against Jacksonville. Davis Mills will get the start. In the NBA, Anthony Edwards back for the T-Wolves tonight against the Knicks. Jimmy Butler out for the Warriors. No Austin Reeves for the Lakers. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we are on. We are ready. We're back, and glad you're here. How you doing today? Solid midweek hitter. Let's get going. The Nate Brown Show is back and ready on your drive home. We are live on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, where it is always a great day in South Dakota. Welcome in. Thanks to our affiliates across the state, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, KWSN, Fox Sports Rapid City. The Nate Brown Show is on this Wednesday. Glad you're here on the radio side. Appreciate you making this show possible. You can stream us anywhere. Yeah, basically anywhere. Fox Sports, right? The websites. You've got Twitter. So find us at Nate Brown Show. You can watch the show live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show. And then you've got us on Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports app. They've done a great job covering high school sports. We are live on Midwest Sports Plus every afternoon. You've got the app, you've got us, and also our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. It makes us feel a little bit cooler, just a little bit with this new age. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show. Every show live, every archive show. You've got us. Been a good week so far. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. This is it for the show this week, so we better make it count. I got to get out the door tomorrow. So I'm out tomorrow. Then we got the semifinals Friday night, high school football. There's a lot to get to. We got Jacks, Yotes. So let's get popping tonight. Make it count. Voice of the Jacks coming up. Tyler Merriam. Yes, he's live tonight from Brookings. Jacks, Yotes coming up Saturday. Tyler Merriam, the voice of the Jacks on tonight. His read on where the South Dakota State program is right now. Special edition tonight, Lee Sterling. Since we're not on tomorrow, we have Lee Sterling tonight. Handicapper for Paramount Sports. He'll make his picks for the college and NFL weekend. Lee Sterling on tonight. He'll give you a free one tonight. I like his game of the week. I think you will as well. Paramount Sports, Lee Sterling. Marcus Traxler is going to join us, sports editor for the Mitchell Republic. Breakdown semifinal night. High school football should be some great ones Friday. Marcus Traxler coming up. Mitchell Republic tonight. And Frank Schwab is in. National NFL writer. He'll be covering Broncos, Raiders tomorrow night. Thursday night football in Denver. Frank Schwab's on from yahoosports.com. Get you in tonight if you want to be a part of the show. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, where you can have a voice here, 605-720-1067. Hope you have that number locked in, 605-720-1067. You've got it. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, and the Barron's Wilson text line, ready to go, 605-720-1067. Same number. The text line is open. All right, so I want to get to this. The Board of Directors meeting happening today in Pierre for the South Dakota High School Activities Association. So there's basically just two things that I grabbed out of this today that I'll hit right now. Before we get to Brown's Best and Kearney's Picks, we will make our high school football picks. We got 5 games we're going to pick coming up, so hang tight. But the Board of Directors meeting happening today, there wasn't a lot of huge things like seismic shifts or, big rule changes or anything like that. But let me hit on 2 things. If you're a high school sports fan, keep you plugged in here. So they were thinking about doing the fining of the fans storming the court, storming the field, storming the playing area, whatever you want to call it. They were thinking about doing that because we had some court storming this past basketball season, and the Activities Association was looking at it saying, we have this rule where you can't storm the court, yet we didn't really enforce it, and how can we enforce it stronger? So they came up with this idea to do the $1,000 fine, potentially, for the school that storms the court. So you would fine a school, and then they would pay the other school $1,000. Well, I never thought that was needed. And people can argue on that. Well, you got to stop this stuff, and it's too dangerous and stuff. So there's arguments there. I understand. I'm not telling all the kids to storm the court, but I am saying we get a little too edgy of, well, we have to do this like we're the SEC. We're going to fine the fans. And by the way, does it ever work? When the schools get fined $250K in the SEC, are they still storming the field? Yeah, they are. So I don't know if this is going to ever, it wouldn't ever stop the deal. So the update from the Board of Directors meeting today, they took that off the plan, at least. It was the second reading, and they did not have a motion to pass it. So that whole scenario, they're going to go kind of back to the drawing board of like, hey, we got to, change a little bit of wording here and make sure that, we can enforce it, and the administration that's there is in charge. So long story short, you're not going to have $1,000 fine as of now for the opposing school if you storm the playing area. By the way, the Nate Brown Show does not endorse storming the playing area. There's a fine line here, so we don't endorse it. But I did not endorse a $1,000 fine for the school budget and thinking that was going to solve all the problems. It won't. Kids are going to get excited. Administrators got to be prepared. Some security in some of the areas. I mean, you got to be ready for this stuff. And so that's off the table. No $1,000 fine for the opposing school if they storm the court. I'm okay with that. Now, let me get to the other. There wasn't a lot of massive things, but one thing that I heard today at the board meeting that got my interest, and this is going to lead into a question of the day, which I'm interested in what you have to say. So I heard this at the board meeting today. In South Dakota, 20 to 30% of schools are searching for a new athletic director every year or two. So they're actually going to form a committee to kind of look at this. What is this? They're going to kind of look into what's going on in South Dakota school districts. Why could this be? So if you just missed that, 20 to 30%, it's not everybody, but this was the estimate. This was from Dan Swartos, the executive director of the Activities Association in Pierre today. 20 to 30% of schools are looking for a new AD every year or two, like within 1 year or 2 years. So ADs are, what's that mean? They're there, they're out quick. That's 20 to 30% is the estimate. So I've said on the show before over the years, I think there's been two things that I've been concerned about. You hear it a lot, the official shortage. I mean, that's been campaigned, and we've helped run some PSAs on this show and stuff like that. So I know the officials shortage is real. We've had to move high school football games to Thursdays and move them around so you can get enough crews. So the official shortage is there. Then I said you're going to have a coaching shortage. I believe that. Years ago, I said that on this show, that high school coaches are going to be few and far between because of the commitment, the politics, the pay. I mean, there's you got to have thick skin. You got to know the game. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into being a high school coach. And I've said, I think you're just going to run out of these folks that are really going to be in a school for 20 years. I don't know if it's the new generation as well. It's like, hey, I got family. I got stuff like this. I can't be a high school coach and spend all this time with other kids. So there is that factor. So I've looked at it in high school sports. You're going to have a coaching shortage. I believe that years ago, and now I've heard from ADs, they have less and less applicants for opening jobs. So I've heard that actually from ADs who have told me they used to get a bunch of applicants for head varsity coaches, and now it's you're just picking through a few. There's been jobs that have been open at some big schools in South Dakota that they hardly get any applicants at all. ADs have told me. I mean, it is tough. So now you got that, and now this one I did not hear about until today. The athletic directors, activities directors. 20 to 30% of schools looking for new ADs every year or two. So I'll ask this question of the day on the AD side. Why would we be running out of new ADs, or why would ADs be quitting or changing, moving on? Maybe they're not doing the AD thing. It was just 20 to 30% of schools looking for new ADs. So now the Activities Association made that one of their points of focus. We got to figure out why this is happening. What's going on with the ADs? So I'll make that a point here on the Nate Brown Show. Why do you think ADs in South Dakota high schools are moving on or calling it quits so early? They might be there a year. They might be there a couple of years. And then you start from scratch again. And this is leading activities departments, and you got to have strong leadership. These are the guys and gals that hire the coaches. You got to have some consistency in trying to build an athletic department at your school. It's important. You can't have ADs in for a year and then out. I mean, you hardly are able to get anything done in a year. You guys know how it is when you get into an organization. It takes like a year to find out who are the players, what are the aspects, what are the situation here. So now we're losing ADs that quick. Why do you think that is? That's my question of the day as we open it up tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Question of the day, 605-720-1067. Hit me on the Barron's Wilson text line. Is it the huge time commitment? They're at every single event, not just sports, but fine arts. And I mean, it's every single event, basically. Is it the parent complaints? The era that we're in, we complain about the coaches, the this, the that, or is it lack of admin support? Are they not getting enough support, the ADs themselves, from the principals, from the school district itself, when the complaints start filing in? What would you say? Why are ADs moving on so quickly? You tell me. We'll get to the question of the day, 605-720-1067. 106.7. It is a Wednesday on the Nate Brown Show, and it's an early edition of Brown's Best and Kearney's Picks, the high school football picks you only get right here on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. It's semifinal Friday night. How are our records going into this?
So right now you're 39-6. I'm 32-13.
Not bad, not bad. I'll take it. And I'm going to take this round, too. Let's get going. Brown's Best, Kearney's Picks. Let's go AAA. The best game, I think, is going to be Lincoln and Jefferson. It was a battle before. Jefferson had them. High-scoring affair. Can Jefferson score enough this time, and can their defense stop, I think, the best offense in the state? I think. I'm going to go Lincoln. It's a back-and-forth deal. It's a good game Friday. Lincoln, 35-28. They have the best QB, the best playmaker. He'll make the play. Schaefer, 35-28.
I think it'll be a little easier game for Sioux Falls Lincoln against Jefferson here. Of course, when they first met up back in September, it was Sioux Falls Lincoln 57-36. I'm taking Lincoln over Jefferson 42-20.
That big?
Yes, that big.
42-20.
Yes, and then you're going to have Brandon Valley and Sioux Falls Lincoln at the Dome.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I believe that. I think it's going to be tight. Lincoln, Jefferson, we'll see. Okay, let's go AA now. These are the two games. We're going to put both of them in because I think this class has been so unpredictable. So let's go number one, Yankton against Sturgis. Sturgis beat them in Sturgis 27-21 earlier. Not quite. I can't do it for the Scoopers. Yankton's ready. They're at home. Yankton wants to get to the Dome. They will. Sturgis, not quite enough plays to be made. They made the plays last week. Not quite today, this week. 28-14, the Bucks.
When I look at Sturgis, you look at the history the Scoops have been through, the longest losing streak in state history. And then you have Coach Chris Koletsky coming in, trying to build the program from the ground up. This is their first semifinal appearance since 1995. And who did they play back then? It was Yankton.
Oh.
But Yankton won 46-14. As you said, 11 AA, the most interesting class in the state, the most unpredictable class in the state. I almost had you last week with the Sturgis, with the Spearfish almost in the win.
You did.
Just barely, though. I'm taking Sturgis. I'm going on a limb. Give me the Scoopers over Yankton 21-20, and it will be the first time the Sturgis Scoopers made it to the Dome since 1983.
That would be big.
Yes.
That's not a reach. That's not a reach. I think it's going to be a good game, but I'm going to go Yankton a little too much. Pierre is taking on Huron. Huron got respect when they beat Pierre this season, right? That's when everybody said, man, Huron's pretty good, I think. They beat Pierre. No more. Governors back and ready. Back in the Dome. Imagine that. Steve Steele and Pierre. They beat Huron 28-20 Friday.
When I look at their stats here, they're pretty similar. Huron is scoring 25 points per game. Pierre's scoring 31. Huron's allowing 12. Pierre's allowing 15. When was the last time Huron was at the Dome, or went to the Dome, I should say? 2018. So not that. Not too far.
Yeah, I don't remember
not
that.
Too far in the past. But here's the thing, though. And of course, Huron, they won against Pierre earlier in the season, 13-7. Again, I'm going on a limb again. Give me Huron. Give me a Huron-Sturgis Dome pick.
Huh?
Yes. So Huron get the win over the Governors tomorrow, 17-14. Book it.
Think about that.
Book it.
Huron-Sturgis at the Dome in a state championship.
Yes.
You've never seen anything like it. Too bad it won't happen, but good luck.
It will.
Good luck.
Believe.
Brown's Best, Kearney's Picks. We got 2 games left tonight. Semifinal night is Friday. St. Thomas More is trying to get back to the Dome. They haven't been there for a while. They had a good run there, and now they're back. Clark Willow Lake. They're going to be tough. I think St. Thomas More is just better. 11B has teams that maybe aren't quite as good as we've seen from top to bottom. I think Clark Willow Lake's solid, not great. So St. Thomas More strong, physical enough this year. Normally they get pushed around over the years. St. Thomas More's good enough. They'll beat Clark Willow Lake 21-14. Cavaliers going back to the 11B title game.
When I look at both of their schedules, Clark Willow Lake's schedule, it's not as strong as St. Thomas More's, but neither is St. Thomas More's schedule either. The only team I can pick out of the Cavs' schedule was Mount Vernon Plankington win.
Yeah.
And when I look at Clark Willow Lake's, winner, maybe? I don't know.
And they were down.
Yeah, and they were down too. So, I mean, I think it's going to be St. Thomas More getting the win here and going back to the Dome. When was the last time that they were at the Dome? Like 2014 or something like that?
Probably.
I think that's correct. So give me St. Thomas More over Clark Willow Lake, 35-13. And, of course, it's going to be the L Point Jefferson St. Thomas More Dome.
I am with you on
game.
That as well.
Yeah.
I think that will be the 11B title game. How about 9A? 9-man pick of the week. Phillip is at Wall. This is a blowout. Hate to break it to you. It's a blowout. The Wall Eagles, I think, might win the whole thing. They might win the whole thing. They're going to beat Phillip 49-16. Don't be surprised if Wall rolls Friday.
How many points is Wall allowing this season, Nate?
Not much.
3. 3.
Well, Phillip might not score 16 then.
So I'm with you. I think it's a blowout. So give me Wall over Phillip tomorrow, 48-8.
Okay, we are differing on the 11AA title matchup. I got Yankton Pier. Kearney's going Sturgis Huron. Otherwise, we're the same across the board. Brown's Best, Kearney's Picks. Friday night coming up. It's semifinal night, and then we're set for the Dome Championships next week. Brown's Best, Kearney's Picks in the books. Let's go to the voice of the Jacks. Tyler Merriam next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Hey, it's Nate Brown for Atomic Wings, 2 locations in Sioux Falls. You don't need to keep going to the mediocre wing places with too much breading and wings that don't have any meat. Atomic Wings is different. I know firsthand. Their boneless wings are made with fresh chicken right there. The best wings I've had. 15 unique flavors to choose from sweet to heat. Huge traditional wings, fresh boneless wings for game day, lunch, or dinner. 2 locations in Sioux Falls. Just order at atomicwings.com. Atomicwings.com.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people get into all kinds of vehicles with loans as unique as them. Trucks, cars, SUVs, we finance them all with local service and rates starting as low as 4.99% APR. That's right, 4.99%. Keep your loan local and find the one that fits you at bhfcu.com. Apply today online or text 605-718-1818 to get started. Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
Attention football fans, the BetMGM Sportsbook at Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort has it all. Watch your team on massive high-definition screens while enjoying live betting. Keep some skin in the game even when the odds don't go your way. Enter Jack's Second Chance Mulligan drawing by dropping your losing ticket for a shot at up to $200 in Cadillac cash every week. Satisfy your craving with mouth-watering Mexican cuisine from Guadalajara's or choose from 4 other food vendors, all while sipping on your favorite drinks. The BetMGM Sportsbook at Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort. How will your game play out?
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Forecast tonight with a low of 45. Southerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly cloudy tomorrow, 65. Tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 40. Chance for rain Friday with highs in the upper 50s. Slight chance for mixed precipitation changing to all snow and highs in the low 40s on Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 54.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling collector signs and banners from Rice Motorsports in Rapid City. Now, 100% of the proceeds are going to YFS Girls Inc. and the Club for Boys in Rapid City. Selling collector Victory motorcycle banners, leather jackets, shop shirts, Victory showroom displays, signs including the Victory signs on display at the former Rice location on Campbell Street in Rapid City. Auction begins to close at 6 p.m. For more details and to bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Life changes fast. Starting a business, getting married, buying a house, growing your family. Have you taken steps to protect your family's financial future? Don't let life insurance be the thing that slides. It can help your family during difficult times. Lee Cruz with get started. He's local and will help you find the right policy to fit your needs and budget. You can Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. That's Lee Cruz New York Life. Protect your family.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Hey, welcome back in across the state, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We are live. Thanks for making this show possible. We appreciate you. On Fox Sports Radio, the Nate Brown Show is on. Packed tonight. We'll go to Frank Schwab from Denver, national NFL writer. He's covering Broncos Raiders tomorrow night. YahooSports.com's Frank Schwab. Coming up, Marcus Traxler's in from the Mitchell Republic tonight. We'll talk high school football semifinal night Friday. Marcus Traxler and sports editor Mitchell Republic straight ahead. Hey, Saturday, it's the Interstate Showdown. Jacks Yotes at the Dakota Dome. Tyler Merriam's the voice of the Jacks. I listen to him a lot. I hope you do across the state on the Jacks Sports Network. Tyler, welcome in. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Always good to catch up. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for the time tonight. You've been going. This is your busy time. Football, basketball. Let's stack it up and get going. So I got to get into this Saturday deal, and we'll talk about the matchup. But you give me your read, Tyler, that you've been covering the team for a while. The Jacks fans have been expecting we just win every game. What's it feel like the last couple of weeks here in the program?
Well, it's just been an interesting few months. You know, you really have to go back to when the coaching transition occurred and all the frustration that went along with that, and then Dan Jackson stepping in and rebuilding the roster and all of that. And it's amazing how fast people forget things, because when this season started, there were a lot of folks who wondered, hey, could they beat Sacramento State in the opener? Could they win at Montana State? Could they start 0-2? And that was a legitimate concern from some fans. And then SDSU rattles off 7 straight wins and reaches the number 2 spot in the country. And since then, they've just had a lot of hardship along the way and lose back-to-back games. And so there is some frustration, yes, but it's also how quickly we forget that you didn't know this team was going to be 7-0. And it's really been remarkable. Had you told a lot of people at the beginning of the year they'd be 7-2, I think they would take that.
Yeah.
But because of how it's played out, there's some frustration right now and some nervousness as to what the last 3 weeks and beyond might hold.
What did Coach Jackson have to say? You guys do your show Tuesdays. What did Coach Jackson have to say about the Indiana State game? What did we learn there?
Well, I think what we learned is that despite how well this team has played, there's still a lot of youth, you know, and they're going to make some mistakes, and particularly when you're dealing with a backup at a position like quarterback that is such a, you know, Luke Marvel's got a lot of talent, and so does Jack Henry for that matter, but they're 2 freshmen who haven't played college football before the last couple of weeks. And to ask them to step in, you're going to have some growing pains along the way. The Indiana State game is just a really unique game, and that's the thing that Jackson went back to. Nate, the Jacks punted 1 time and scored 12 points.
Right.
Like you could play on Madden, or you could do that 1,000 times. The odds of that happening are astronomical, that you don't accidentally end up with 21 points through that process. So it wasn't as if the offense didn't do some good things or move the football. They've got to be able to finish some drives. They've got to be able to capitalize in a couple of scenarios. Special teams made a glaring error that allowed for a kickoff return for a touchdown, yes, and the defense allowed a couple of big plays. They played well as a whole, but they didn't finish a few things. And Indiana State capitalized, and when you face the Missouri Valley Football Conference, even if you're facing a team near the bottom of the league, you have to finish what you started. SDSU didn't, and because of that, it lost.
Tyler Merriam joining us, voice of the Jackrabbits. Find him on X at Tyler Merriam. You hear him across the state on the Jackrabbit Sports Network. It's Yotes Jacks Saturday in Vermilion. So I wanted one more read on this for this team. So they come out with national title aspirations, and that's not over, but you're hoping, well, what can we get in the playoffs? What seed can we get? Where are we going to be? That's been the discussion. What's still in front of them now? Has that changed?
Well, I think obviously the overall goal is to win a national championship. If you don't start the year thinking that, then you really aren't doing the right thing. But they didn't go into week 2 or week 3 or week 4 going, hey, if we don't win this game, we're not going to win the national championship, And so that part hasn't changed. The week-by-week goals still are prepare for that week, control what you can control, and take care of the opposition. It's the old thing of you can't win 8 till you win 7, you can't win 7 till you win 6. You got to take it one step at a time. And realistically, if you want to have this discussion, and this isn't something the team is, but if the Jacks can win their last 3 games, and that's obviously a possibility, they have to figure it out. If they get to the playoffs at 10-2, and Chase Mason is able to come back and be healthy, and you go, their 2 losses are to the number 1 team in the country, and when they were missing their starting quarterback for another game, and they have a resume of 10-2, they're going to be a top 4 seed more than likely based on that. Certainly a top 8. So they can still do everything they want to do, but they can't do it by worrying about December. They have to worry about what's in front of them this week, and a team that honestly is as desperate as SDSU is in many respects, and an in-state rival on top of it.
Yeah, what do you think, Tyler, of USD's win over UND? I was noticing, man, UND was going pretty good, and then they get beat at the Dome. A couple of plays bounced the Yotes' way. So what did you think of that win for USD?
I tell you what, we entered this month of November talking about how North Dakota was going to have a huge say in all of this because UND hosted both NDSU and SDSU. The Bison go to Grand Forks coming up here on Saturday, and then SDSU will finish the year in Grand Forks. And UND goes and stubs its toe. And again, UND played well in that game, but made a couple of critical errors, and it cost them dearly. And that's what obviously sticks out. USD is a team that has always been capable, but they got a little turnover prone earlier in the year and made some mistakes. Aiden Bauman has not thrown a pick in his last 100-plus passes. And with that run game, if Bauman takes care of the football, they're going to be a problem for teams. And, oh, by the way, they played 6 one-score games this year, so they play a lot of tight games. And USD's a good football team. So to see UND go in there and lose didn't shock me at all. This is a Coyote team that knows how to win with a very good veteran quarterback, and Phillips at running back has been exceptional, one of the best in the country. So I wasn't surprised that USD won that football game because I think the Coyotes are very good and a potential playoff team.
Voice of the Jacks on the Nate Brown Show tonight, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. This is Tyler Merriam. Couple more. I'll let him roll. We're previewing Jacks Yotes Saturday in Vermilion. The status of Chase Mason is up in the air, and it's big. I say it, you cover the team, and I came on earlier this week. I said the Jacks are a totally different team without Chase Mason. Is that accurate? You explain.
Well, I mean, they're certainly different. I think the biggest thing is that you go from somebody who is one of the top players in the nation at his position within the FCS to whomever it is, a very inexperienced player. And it's not that somebody can't step in and be talented, but you're going to have a drop-off there. And all of a sudden, this is a Jacks team that's won some close games. Your margin of error, it becomes much thinner when you take out somebody of that quality. But it's not just Chase Mason. Lofton Ogroski's non-conference season at wide receiver was as good as almost anybody in the country.
Yeah.
Ogroski's hurt. You take him out. The Jacks are down 3 different running backs that in the spring they thought were going to be a part of the rotation. And so that's a factor. Reese Kirschenman had gotten off to a tremendous start at defensive end with a ton of ability. He's out for the year. Chase Van Tol is out at linebacker. These injuries are stacking up, and this is a team that, again, going back to when the season started, was so young to begin with, and now you're really testing that depth at a variety of positions. And so it just becomes a challenge. It's not insurmountable. Again, that's a game on Saturday the Jacks still very easily could have won over Indiana State. But you can't make those mistakes. You can get away with some things when you have a full allotment. The Jacks could make a couple of turnovers as they did against Sacramento State and still win. When you're down a bunch of players, you can't commit 3 turnovers. They did that against Indiana State, and that was their undoing.
What are the Tyler Merriam keys to the game Saturday? What are you watching?
Well, first off, whoever wins the turnover battle is going to go a long way, and that's such an easy thing to say, but we've seen that. Again, the Jacks were -3 last Saturday, right? USD forced a couple of big turnovers against UND, so whoever wins the turnover battle goes a long way. The Jacks are going to have to handle the atmosphere, and with Chase Mason at quarterback, you wouldn't think that would be that big of a deal, and the way the Jacks played at Montana State backs that up. But if Mason isn't able to go and you're playing a redshirt freshman at quarterback, the atmosphere could potentially rattle a young man who isn't used to playing in that environment. And so that certainly becomes an issue. So the Jacks have to be able to handle themselves well, not turn the football over, and then they have to limit the big play defensively. It has been tough for teams to sustain drives all year on this defense, but they have been prone to giving up the big play. So they have to limit the big play, they have to handle the environment, and take care of the football. And if they do that, then they're going to be in a position to win. And both teams, again, play similar styles, Nate. Neither one of these teams wants to run up at 5 seconds off the play clock and snap the football, right? They want to control the clock, run the football, establish the line of scrimmage. So they're almost looking in the mirror at each other when you consider that part of this.
What do you think of this talk of bringing back a traveling trophy? The Little Brown Jug was retired. I saw Coach Jackson talking. I wouldn't mind a traveling trophy. What do you think?
We do obviously have the Interstate Series trophy, which covers the entire rivalry. It doesn't cover something specific to football. Anything that gets people, excited is fun. And I know UND, NDSU, they're talking about that with the Nickel Trophy, too. And so if it's done right, it's something that could be a lot of fun, and we could be talking about this stuff even more. So I don't think you say no ever to things like that. It just needs to be done the right way.
Tyler Merriam on tonight, joining us, voice of the Jacks. By the way, what'd you think of Coach Peterson, the debut head coach on the men's side? They get the win over Merrimack the other night, and then the women's side rolling by Creighton.
Well, Brooklyn Meyer is phenomenal on the women's side of things, and if people aren't aware of her, they should be. I mean, she was up to be one of the top centers in the nation last year, and she picked up where she left off, going for more than 30 points, had more than 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks, and the 4th player in the last 15 years to put up a 35, 5, and 5 game. So she's the real deal. That's a big win for that program against a quality non-conference foe out of the Big East in Creighton. On the men's side, people that don't know about Merrimack, Nate, I know you're a big sports guy, you're aware of this. Merrimack is a team that plays a tandem 2-3 zone. It's a nightmare to prepare for. Nobody does it like that. They play at three-quarter court. It just throws everything off. The Jacks went 11 minutes in the second half without a field goal and won the game.
Yeah.
So to find a way to do that, and Joe Seiler isn't 100%. He's still coming off an injury in the off season, and so he was not his normal self. For them to find a way to win that game, dealing with some of those adversities, I mean, that tells you a lot about a basketball team. This early in the year to come together like that and to not break, that was a big statement. So it was a heck of a Monday night for Jackrabbit basketball.
All right, I think we covered it all. That was the Jackrabbit Sports update right there with Tyler Merriam on tonight. Tyler, I appreciate you. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks a lot.
No, always good to catch up, Nate. Hope everybody takes care.
Thanks a lot. Tyler Merriam, voice of the Jacks, on all the affiliates across South Dakota on the Jackrabbit Sports Network. Tyler Merriam on tonight live from Brookings, previewing Jacks Yotes Saturday. That's good stuff. Got into the matchup. It'll be a good one Saturday. Jacks are favored. I don't know how these guys are looking at it. I'm going to Las Vegas. Wonder what the line's going to be. Jacks are favored, but is Chase Mason going to play? I mean, that's a major factor. A major factor. Speaking of favorites, Lee Sterling, special appearance on a Wednesday. Yes, he's in tonight from Paramount Sports. Lee Sterling's going to make his picks for the weekend out of the Big Ten and NFL. Lee Sterling coming up, and he has a game of the week for you as well. Hang on.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
But it's tough on your car. All those quick starts, hard stops, endless red lights, and long idle times. They wear things down fast. Brakes, fluids, engine components, they all take a beating. That's where Al's D&I Repair in Rapid City comes in. We handle the maintenance that keeps your vehicle ready for whatever the city throws at it. Al's D&I. Fix online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
And welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Thanks for being here as always. You guys make this show possible. We appreciate it. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union. 18 locations from Custer to Sioux Falls. It's my family's banking partner. It has been for a long time. When we switched, that was the best choice by far. Just have great rates on a lot of stuff, whether it's vehicle loans, home loans, personal, business, mobile banking on my phone. It's really easy to keep track of everything. So it's really convenient. It's personal. It's Black Hills Federal Credit Union. Become a member. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Switch over. BHFCU.com. BHFCU.com. Really easy to get started. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Lee Sterling's special appearance on a Wednesday. Lee Sterling is in ParamountSports.com. Lee, how are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. Since we're doing this a day early, I'm going to leave a half hour early from the office. And I don't know if you've heard of the restaurant Joe's Stone Crab. Going to meet some friends who are in from out of town. So
I like it.
Yeah. So you ever had stone crabs before, Nate?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Out in the Atlantic Ocean, and you only take off one of the claws, one of the two claws, and they regenerate the claw. They're special, and they have they do it with people eat it with a butter sauce or a mustard sauce. I eat it more with a mustard sauce, and then one of the most famous restaurants in the United States. And top of that, hash browns, key lime pie, and my wife's favorite. Wow. You would never think it sounds great, but it is a tomato with spinach and then I think 3 different types of cheeses that are melted across the top. Sometimes when I go with friends or clients, she'll tell me, just bring home 3 tomatoes with spinach and cheese on top. So you not have me on tomorrow? I was more than willing to move it today to meet some friends for dinner tomorrow night.
You better believe it. I was a lobster guy when I was in Maine. I was a lobster guy.
Okay.
All right. That's the way I go. Stone crabs. I got to get it. We don't get a lot of that in South Dakota. I hate to break it to you, Lee.
I know. Well, you can get them flown in, but they're expensive. Next time, or if you're ever in Miami, my treat. We'll go to Joe's Stone Crab.
I love it. Okay. Trade deadline just happened. NFL. Before we get into some games. Trade deadline happened. My Broncos didn't do anything. There's some teams that didn't. What do you think of that?
I think they should have made a move for a running back. I don't think their running backs are very good. I would have gone for someone like Breece Hall. Give up a first-rounder, even a first and a second-rounder. I think he's a difference maker. He's one of those 4 or 5 backs in the NFL that can break a tackle and go the distance. His speed. He has been dinged up a little bit, but I think just the guys that the Broncos have are backups. And if you're going to make a run, they got to do something to jumpstart this offense. This offense is stuck in like first and second gear. It's just not getting going. And I thought he was the guy, and I thought he might have been available. So a little surprised that they didn't make a play for either a running back or one of those pretty good wide receivers, get a number 2 receiver in here. So, if you want to take the next step, I thought those were the 2 positions of need. The defense is just fine, and just who knows how long they can hold up with the offense just not getting the job done.
Yeah, Broncos have been sluggish on offense, somehow still 7-2, huge point differential in the fourth quarter. Lee Sterling's on tonight. Let's get after it. ParamountSports.com. Get started there. Let's get some games. Big Ten, Indiana, Penn State. So Indiana's been covering, Lee, and now they're favored by 16. What do we think?
Mm-hmm. Well, if they were at home and Penn State was on the road last week, I would say, maybe I could see it. But this game's going to be at home. I thought Penn State played pretty well against Ohio State last weekend. Only real weakness they have right now, need to push the ball down the field more and also against top-tier receivers. Well, Indiana has one great one, Surratt. But other than that, I'm not bowled over by their receivers here. So I think they can control the line of scrimmage. Here's some. They were right in it. I mean, they had a shot for a backdoor cover, and what happens is late in the game when you're down 2-3 scores, you got to go for it and fourth down, and that was the main reason they didn't cover. They probably were on the wrong side of that cover. So I like Penn State at home here. I think their quarterback's starting to come around a little bit. Let's take the points. Indiana wins this game 31-23. Penn State covers.
Okay, you're going Penn State. Yep. Boy, Indiana's been a juggernaut. You're going to take the points. Too many there in Happy Valley. Yep. Iowa, a lot of Iowa fans say, hey, we're the real deal now. We can beat good teams. They are underdogs. Can the Hawkeyes hang around Oregon by 5.5?
I think they can hang around for a while. I think Oregon is good and maybe a little under the radar. If you watch that Penn State game, Penn State, when they played, it was at Penn State. It was hyped. Oregon dominated the game, both lines of scrimmage. I mean, they should have been up 24, 27 points. Instead, they were up 17. Penn State rallied, tied the game, went to overtime, and Oregon won the game. But I'm impressed with Oregon. Do I think they're the best team? No, but I think they're in the top 5. Iowa did beat Penn State 25-24, but Penn State didn't have their starting quarterback that game. I think the Ducks been kind of going through the motions since they lost to Indiana. They're going to be up for this game. They also have an easy game, and then at the end of the season, USC and Washington. But they're kind of off everyone's radar. Iowa's offense is improved. 25 points in 5 of their 7 games. But the numbers are a little bit deceiving. Those 41 points versus Minnesota, they only really had, I think, was something like 274 total yards, fueled by those 3 turnovers. Second-year offensive coordinator Tim Lester, big improvement over what they had going on. But Oregon, you know, they got some receivers. They got guys that can get down the field. I think they've got something like 3 or 4 guys averaging 14 yards or more reception, and a couple running backs. I think their top 3 running backs are averaging between 6.9 and 9.9 yards per time they touch the ball running it. And Oregon's top 6 in scoring on both sides of the ball. Iowa's going to be a tough out at home. But under a touchdown, I think it's a little light here. I like the Ducks here, 27-16.
Okay, you're going to do it. Oregon by 5.5, and you're going to take them at Iowa. Let's go to the NFL. Lee Sterling's on tonight. Find him at ParamountSports.com. NFC North, Bears, Giants. Can the Bears win as a favorite here? They're favored by 3.5 in Chicago.
So I don't think the Giants are very good, and whatever they had going on after Cam Scatterbo got injured, this team seems to be cooked here. The defense for the Giants wants to get sacks, but get sacks, you gotta put teams in a long down and distance situation, and they're not stopping the run. Even when the Giants get a rare lead, their offense isn't good enough to keep scoring. They've got really like 10 or 15 plays they can run on a team, and then they run out of plays. You got a bunch of 3s and 4s at receiver, 3s and 4s at running back. Just not good enough here. Giants are in the middle of 5 road games in 7 weeks here, and I think Jackson Dart here, if he keeps running like he does, he's going to probably end up getting injured. Feel bad for him. He's just buying time a lot of time, and I think the Bears are improving. They can just get a little more production in the red zone. They'd be dangerous, but defense is still opportunistic. A little frustrating. They had that big lead, and when you have a 2-touchdown lead, you got to close out teams. But this is a young team, and they learn from it. So got to recover onside kicks. Got to work on that a little bit. But I like the Bears here. I think they win and cover 27-17.
Bears staying in the hunt, the NFC North. I didn't see it coming. You're going to take them over the Giants. Okay, stay there. Packers, they laid an egg. I mean, they laid an egg. Yeah. They've lost to the Browns. They lose to the Panthers. Now the Packers are favored again against the Eagles. What do you think? By 2.5. I'm surprised by the line.
Yeah, it is. You would think that maybe the Eagles, this should be like a pick 'em, but Green Bay, when they're on, they're really good, and when they're not, they got problems here. So I just think this is going to be one of those games that's maybe going to transcend time here. I like the receivers. I think the Green Bay receivers are coming on here. Just never thought Jalen Hurts was that great. I mean, he had a lot of talent around him. The tush push is great. I hope they eventually ban it. I think it's horrible for the NFL. Their defense not the same. They did make some moves, but on defense to get a little bit better might help them. But might take a couple of weeks before those guys feel comfortable in the system here. So tight game, but I think the Packers are probably the right side. I think they win and cover 31-24.
Wow, okay, you're going to go with it. Yep. Packers need to bounce back, and you say they will. What about my Broncos tomorrow night at home? They have not won a primetime game against a division opponent in years. That's a stat. I just saw that today. Primetime division game. Broncos are favored by 9. It is the Raiders. Can the Broncos offense put it up?
So I think they solve problems. They just, for some reason or another, I think teams have figured them out a little bit. Offense has gone stale. Talent isn't great here. And, I mean, here we are. We're in week 10. And straight-up records are 7-2 and 2-6. This is still a down and dirty divisional game here off a short week here in the AFC West. Denver plays its third game in 11 days, and the underdog Raiders are less physically stressed, and they're coming off a bye, Week 8 here prior to that Sunday 1-point overtime loss to Jacksonville, which they showed a lot of heart. Geno Smith, they got to get him a little bit more time here, but this is a double avenging game for the Raiders. Lost both meetings last year by 16 and 10 points, but if you went back and watched the games here, they were pretty close games. Should have been a lot closer here. I think Denver wins this game 23-17. I'm taking the 7 points here. Might even get 7.5 certain places. I think you take the Raiders here.
Okay, you're going to go Raiders in Denver with the points. Yep. Lee Sterling's game of the week is one that people want in South Dakota. The Huskers had another heartbreaker. They can't beat top 25 teams. Now can they beat UCLA, who's kind of come back a little bit? UCLA's favored by 1.5.
Yeah, they got blown out by Indiana, but before that, playing much better football. Now, Nebraska's got to do it without their quarterback, Dylan Raiola. So, interesting game here, and anyone wants to get it for free, I think there's a clear right side. First 5 people to call 800-400-9741. Give them the game for free. 800-400-9741. You want to get UCLA and Nebraska on me, and we're going to keep rolling here. Got not November, call it Dovember. 4 weeks of action. There's games every single day. All you need to do if you want to get in, just go to ParamountSports.com. Use coupon code SAVE200. Just $297. ParamountSports.com.
ParamountSports.com's Lee Sterling tonight, and he's going to dinner, man. And he is a ban the tush push guy like me. I love that, Lee. Thank you. Enjoy the week. Right. I appreciate you.
You too, buddy.
See you. Lee Sterling, give him a call if you want that game. Huskers UCLA from the Nate Brown Show only. He'll do 5 callers, you just told us, 800-400-9741. If you want the free game from Lee Sterling, he always gives out the game of the week. He's got Huskers UCLA, his pick tonight, 800-400-9741. You got your phone. Call him. First 5 callers from the Nate Brown Show to Lee Sterling at Paramount Sports. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show. How about this talk of a traveling trophy for the Yotes and the Jacks? Little brown jug is what it used to be, and there's a history with that. Then it hasn't been the thing. Now they just do an interstate trophy for all of the sports. What about just a football traveling trophy? You want to bring that back? I'm going to get into this question of the day. Jacks, Yotes fans, I want your read on this. Some passion from you guys. A traveling trophy for the football game only. Do you want it or not? We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street, featuring 4 full courts for basketball and volleyball. E3 Sports Complex is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is everywhere you need us to be. On the sidelines, supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. It's always a great day in South Dakota, right? Is it finally going to get cold around here? Hang on. Don't say that stuff. It looks like it, so batten down the hatches. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're a part of the program. Appreciate you. We'll talk high school football Friday night semifinal action with Marcus Traxler coming up. He's our guest next hour. Sports editor for the Mitchell Republic. Marcus Traxler, good high school sports guy. He's coming up. Frank Schwab's on tonight from Yahoo Sports, national NFL writer, covering Thursday night football tomorrow, Broncos Raiders. We'll get into a lot more than that. Frank Schwab's on tap from Yahoo Sports. So, Jacks Yotes Saturday. We've been previewing this. We had the voice of the Jacks on tonight, Tyler Merriam, talking SDSU. And can they avoid the loss 3 in a row? The Yotes think they can do it. This is going to be an interesting one Saturday at the Dome. And then people were talking about what happened to the Little Brown Jug traveling trophy. So that's been a discussion going on just this week. So I've been following people. Coach Jackson at SDSU was like, I think we could, do a traveling trophy. I think that's good stuff. And this would be now football only. It used to be the Little Brown Jug, and the history on that was it was donated by a pharmacist from Vermilion in the 1900s. So he donated the Little Brown Jug, and then they engraved it, the game and the winner, and then it went back and forth. I want to know if you want to see a new traveling trophy for the football rivalry for the Jackson Yotes. I've seen these traveling trophies. I was a part of the Bronze Boot. I watched so many Wyoming, Colorado State games growing up. My brother is the 3-year starter at Wyoming, so that's the big one there, the Bronze Boot, Colorado State, Wyoming. They call it the Border War, and it's for the Bronze Boot. It's a big-time, passionate traveling trophy, and then the team wins, and you run over and get it. Do you want a traveling trophy back and forth like the Dakota Marker? We have the Dakota Marker for the Jacks and NDSU, but no traveling trophy for the Yotes and Jacks. I mean, we can have enough respect for that game to do it. Should we do it? Should you just bring back the Little Brown Jug? Whatever happened to the Little Brown Jug? Where is it? Whatever happened to it? Hopefully nobody broke it. It's a relic. I got to tell you, would you do a new trophy or not? Or do you not really care? That's what I want to know. I want to talk to USD alums, SDSU alums, passionate. I want to know if you want a traveling trophy for this game Saturday. And then I want to know as well, what would you do? Would you do a coyote with a jackrabbit head? I mean, those are gifts that people give when they visit South Dakota back to their relatives. They find goofy stuff like that. You could do a coyote with a jackrabbit head. How about a jackalope head? You ever heard of those? Let me tell you, would you want a traveling trophy? What would you do? Would you bring back the Little Brown Jug? Just go historic and Little Brown Jug revival, or nobody really cares? I'm going to throw that out as our question of the day. We got people voting on this. Would you like to see a traveling trophy for the Yotes Jacks game every year? 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson text line. I want to see what you say. Here's people voting on our social media poll. We asked the question, do you want to see a traveling trophy come back for the Jacks-Yotes game? 54% say yes, but a new trophy. Design a new trophy. Any ideas? Any creative people out there? What should it be? Some history there. You gotta have some tie-in. I mean, the Dakota Marker's just a rock. It weighs 1,000 pounds. I mean, it's just a rock. That's what it is. Jacks Yotes traveling trophy. 54% say yes, do a new trophy. 18% say yes, but bring back the Little Brown Jug. And then 27% say, no, I don't really care. Listener text, of course there should be a traveling trophy. It should be a ring-necked pheasant. A pheasant. You're talking about a stuffed pheasant? What? Not bad. Not a bad idea. You tell me, 605-720-1067. Speaking of USD, here's something that we got out of the Activities Association meeting today. The board of directors met today. If you're going to the Dakota Dome next week, if your team makes it, so let's say Sioux Falls Lincoln wins or whoever, if your team makes it, just understand, if you're going to park in the Dakota Dome parking lot, like the big dome parking lot, $5 cash. $5 cash. And the Activities Association wants it to be known, this isn't going to the Activities Association, this is a USD thing. Okay? So heads up on that. We're serving the people tonight on the Nate Brown Show. If your team makes it, if you're going to the Dome and you're going to park in the direct vicinity there of that big dome parking lot, $5 cash only. Cash only. Cash is king. Remember that. And bring $5, and it's going to USD. It's not an Activities Association fee. I got a listener text that came in on that just now. Nate, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing, he says. Well, I got to tell you, I go to even like youth tournaments. Everybody's charging now for parking. I mean, everybody is charging for parking, so I'm not like stunned by it. USD, I mean, everybody is just reeling. They're trying to get money any way they can. Youth sports, here, $20 to park. Yeah, I mean, it's just something. It's something. So now for the Dome next week, if you park in that parking lot, $5 cash only. USD does charge for parking during games, during their college games. So they say, we're going to have that for the high school state championships. By the way, D2 schools are doing it too. I mean, there's D2 schools are like, you can't get any free parking if you're going to park in the main parking lot. So I don't know. Somebody started this mess. Somebody started this and said, hey, why do we let our fans park for free? It's like, because they're coming to the game, they're supporting the program, a lot of them are donors, all this and that. Well, then you got to donate to get a parking pass, stuff like that. I mean, it's turned into the Vikings or a game, where you can't even get free parking anywhere. You got to walk 3 miles. So I thought I could be able to go to youth sports games without having the parking fee, but they got to get it somehow. What should be the traveling trophy for the Jacks and the Yotes? A listener text, a taxidermied jackrabbit and coyote together fighting each other. Wow. That's interesting. That is interesting. That would be quite the trophy. And that would be a big trophy. I like that. That's not bad. Not bad. Get into the next hour on the Nate Brown Show. We're just getting going tonight. Why do you think South Dakota high schools are on the search for new athletic directors? sometimes every 1 to 2 years. That's what we were told today at the Activities Association meeting. 20 to 30% of high schools here in South Dakota have to get a new AD every 1 to 2 years. ADs are in and they're out quick. Why is that? We'll revisit it. And 5 questions from our loyal listener, Chris. It's a 5 questions from Chris Day coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterPark.com.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Kickoff just got bigger. Murphy's Pub and Grill is back with NFL Sunday Ticket. That means every game, every team, every Sunday. Right here at your favorite bar. Cheer loud, eat big, and score with Murphy's game day specials on food and drinks. The atmosphere, electric. The staff, legendary. The screens, everywhere. This season, don't just watch football. Experience it. NFL Sunday Ticket is back, baby. Murphy's Pub and Grill, your new football headquarters. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, volleyball families, get ready to serve up some fun at the Waitiki Spike-tacular Volleyball Tournament, February 13th through 15th at the Box Elder Event Center. Experience high-energy matches, glow-in-the-dark games Friday night, and exciting play all weekend long. Compete in 14U, 16U, or 18U divisions for a shot at the trophy. Stay and play with 25% off rooms at Courtyard by Marriott and water park passes included. Register now at thebox.live.
Hi, I'm Bill at Wire for USA. If you're looking for internet, TV, security systems, or cell booster systems, why would you look at a company that only gives you one choice for each of these systems? Wire for USA offers it all. Viasat, Hughes, CenturyLink, Dish TV, DirecTV, Wilson Cell Booster Systems, and now Starlink and EchoStar Internet Systems. Starlink and EchoStar are the newest, the fastest, and the strongest satellite internet made. No limit, no contract. Wire for USA has it. Call 605-341-5361. Whatever your home or business needs are, call Wire for USA for the products and the service. You don't need training wheels with our system. Connect to the future with Wire for USA at 605-341-5361. We are hometown, we are South Dakota, and we do appreciate your business. 605-341-5361. See us at our new location, 710 North La Crosse Street in Rapid City.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, ready to go. Second hour. How you doing? On your drive home, appreciate you being here. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio across the state on Fox Sports Sioux Falls, KWSN, and Fox Sports Rapid City, South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. Great guest coming up this hour. You're just in time. Frank Schwab's in tonight, national NFL writer for YahooSports.com. We'll hit a lot with Frank around the league. Marcus Traxler's coming up, previewing Friday night, semifinal night in South Dakota High School football. Playoffs are on. Marcus Traxler covers it all. Sports editor for the Mitchell Republic. Does a good job. We'll run through some games, get his take on who's going to make the Dome and who has the edge. Marcus Traxler on tap. The Nate Brown Show is built by Blackburn Foundation Repair. I'm telling you, they do it all when it comes to protecting your house, whether it's professional radon testing, crawl space security, concrete, leveling. It's all there. Make sure your foundation's secure. Crawl space is dry. Your air is clean. Your family's safe. You don't know about all this? Blackburn Foundation Repair does? Start at blackburnrepair.com. Blackburn Crews, local, right here in South Dakota since 1992. That's the company, Blackburn Foundation Repair. Protecting homes, protecting families. Start at blackburnrepair.com. All right, 605-720-1067 is our number if you want to be part of the show this hour. 605-720-1067. I never received as many texts about parking as I just did in the last 5 minutes. If you want to get people fired up, just talk about parking fees. And I now know the parking fee at every university in South Dakota, darn near. But if you know, like Dakota Wesleyan or some of these that, I didn't get those, but I know everybody. Listener text coming in, $5 for the state championships at USD is cheap. Augie and USF are charging $10. I got another listener text. Well, USD, part of the renovation's going on, so there is charge for parking. And then he said SDSU charges $10. So I got accusations flying around all over the place. We're just trying to get the fans for high school football next week at the Dome. There is a $5 cash fee if you're going to park in that Dome parking lot, like the direct vicinity of the Dome. $5 cash fee. And it's USD. It's not the Activities Association. That's what came out of the board meeting today. Also, what came out of the High School Activities Association board meeting today, let's touch on this before we get to 5 questions from Chris. This is a big stat if you missed it in the first hour. 20 to 30% of South Dakota high schools are now looking for new ADs every year or every couple of years. This came out from the board meeting today because it's going to be a focus for the Activities Association to look at why are ADs getting in for a year and maybe leaving, either leaving the school, moving on, doing something else, not being an AD. So I made it into our question of the day tonight, talked a lot of high school sports. What would you say is pushing ADs out? So 20 to 30% of South Dakota school districts are looking for new ADs every year or two. ADs are getting in, they're getting out quick. Why is that? We actually had an AD reply here. This is an AD from East River. Based on my experience as an AD and talking to other ADs, it's mostly the big time commitment. 14 to 16-hour days. You're hosting multiple events and then a lot of travel out of town on top of it. Over time, that'll wear on you and it becomes a quality of life decision. Okay, that's interesting. That's from an AD and a coach. I did say there's got to be a few reasons here. The big time commitment, because it's not just, for ADs, they're going to all the stuff. It's all the sports. It's all the fine arts activities. It's a lot of stuff. It sounds like a glorious position. I myself, I was an associate AD at the college level. I was an associate AD at the college level, not the AD. But I felt like I was going to this and going to that, and then I didn't go to every activity. And then I'd go on the road and stuff like that. That was at the college level. The AD at high school, man, they're going to everything. Like they're the administrator in charge at everything. So the huge time commitment's got to be one. Parent complaints these days, it comes to you because they complain to the coach first, then the coach comes to you, then the parent eventually comes to the AD. There's a no-win situation. And then I wonder if there's enough support from the administration. the superintendent on down, the principal on down, do they support the AD in the tough decisions that they really have to make, and then when they have to tell parents, no, it's this way, not your way, it's our way? Is there enough support from the administration at the school district, or are IDs just getting burned out saying, I am out? I'm out. What would you say? Why are ADs quitting in South Dakota at schools after a year or two? At 20 to 30% of schools. That was the number thrown out. Listener text coming in on that. It's all about lack of pay and the stress involved with being an AD. No one's ever happy with anything anymore. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and I would say a lot of the ADs pay. Like people think, oh, these guys, administrators, they rake it in. They're ADs don't get paid like most of the administrators. The ADs do not, the school districts I've seen, they don't get paid like most of the administrators. No, they don't. So 47% of the audience is voting for it's the huge time commitment burning out the ADs. 40% say it's the complaints from the parents, constant complaints. 13% lack of administrative support. You tell me on the text line if you could. High schools losing ADs. I didn't know that was a factor. I knew we were running low on coaches. I know we got coaching jobs that open up and hardly anybody applies sometimes now. And the various reasons, time commitment, the complaints, the politics. I mean, there's similar reasons, I think. But now it's actually ADs who actually full-time salary, pretty big position, and they're quitting after a year or two at 20 to 30% of South Dakota school districts. So why would you say? 605-720-1067. 5 questions from Chris coming up. First, we'll jump to the NFL. National NFL writer for Yahoo Sports, Frank Schwab's on next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
It isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work, and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. I just got an update on parking at South Dakota universities. South Dakota Mines, Rapid City, home of the Hard Rockers, free, except for the ramps. I mean, that's the best stadium you could ever get. Drive-in stadium, you could tailgate during the game. You got your car in the stadium at O'Hara Stadium, so that's the real deal. You do have to pay for your ramp spot, but it's free parking for South Dakota Mines. Congratulations. Keep it up. Let's go. It's always a great day to be a Hard Rocker, right? South Dakota Sports Talk Show live with Frank Schwab on tonight. NFL writer, YahooSports.com. Got Thursday Night Football tomorrow. Denver, Frank. Broncos favored by 7.5 against the Raiders. Let's start there. Are the Broncos going to have enough offense to cover the number? They haven't done it much.
No, they really haven't. I kind of assume so because the Raiders are just bleak. They're a bad football team. They're going back. If we just count Week 1 as an outlier, when they beat the Patriots somehow, they're 1-7 in their last 8 games. Their only win is against Tennessee. Their 3 road games. They've lost. One of them was like by 14. The other 2 are by 30+. Like they're a bad football team. So this is the kind of game the Broncos should get right in. If I'm sitting here on Thursday night saying, all right, well, Bo Nix has got to rally them for a comeback again, that's bad news. They got to stop with this. They got to come up with some consistency in that offense. I like that team. I think they're going to win the AFC West at this point, but I reserve the right to change my mind if this offense doesn't turn it around. I keep expecting Sean Payton to fix things. I do have faith in him, and I get it. The Texans are a tough defense who they faced on Sunday, but at some point you got to do it. At some point, Bo Nix has to play better than he has for all 4 quarters, not just the fourth quarter.
Here's my deal with the Broncos. I watch them all the time, and you do as well, Frank, but Sean Payton goes conservative. He goes lateral pass, lateral pass, lateral pass. Yeah. He does it the whole first half and 3 quarters, and then the Broncos are plus 53 in the fourth quarter. They got the number 1 fourth quarter point differential. That's a Sean Payton thing.
I think that's part of it, yes. I'd like to see them open up a little bit more. Part of it, too, is I think defenses, until they have to, defenses are saying, look, if Bo Nix can beat us all the way down the field without making a mistake, well, we'll live with it. And he hasn't been able to. I mean, that's part of it, too. When things present themselves to you, you got to be consistent with it. You got to find a way to move the ball. And I don't know. I don't know what the magic elixir is here, but the opportunity is right there for the Broncos. They are 2 games up on the Chiefs. And if you start doing math, I mean, you don't have to be even great. As long as you split with the Chiefs the rest of the season, you got 2 games remaining against them. If you just split against the Chiefs, are the Chiefs really going to be, 3 games better than you the rest of the way to win that without a tiebreaker? It's really hard to envision that. But again, you have to play up to that level, and the Broncos, they're just a hard team to read. On one hand, we've talked about this. On one hand, you can sit there and say, well, without the miracle comeback against the Giants and the comeback against the Eagles and Good thing you played the Jets when you did, because you weren't good enough to beat any other team that day, except maybe like the Titans of the world. You're very lucky to be 7-2 in that way, but there are only 2 losses. No time left against the Colts, who are tied for the best record in the NFL. No time left against the Chargers, who are a playoff team right now. They're that close to being undefeated. So what do we make of the Broncos? I like them, but I do think that they're one of those teams that has to play better in the second half to maintain the record they have.
It's in Denver tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football, and you think 7.5, whatever the number, wherever you look at it, you're not nervous about a divisional game, even though the Raiders have been bad. The divisional games usually are tight.
Yeah, if weird things happen on Thursday night, I'll grant you that, but I don't want to spend my Thursday night rooting for the Raiders. Let's put it that way. That is a bad football team.
Okay, I want to get into the trade deadline. The Colts going after Sauce Gardner yesterday. Is that a huge deal? Do you believe the Colts are close? They think they are in the AFC.
I do. Look, they had one glaring weakness, and that was cornerback. And they went out, and maybe edge rusher too, but they went out and found the best cornerback who I truly did not think would be on the market. And based on history, Sauce Gardner is the youngest player ever to be traded with more than one first-team All-Pro nods on his resume. So a guy like this has never moved before. But the Colts said, hey, what do you want? 2 first-round picks? Sure, let's go. And I respect the Colts for it. I do. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, wow, the Jets won that trade and all this and that. NFL teams clutch their draft picks too tightly. Like, I get it. They're very valuable. They're a source of cheap labor, basically, in the early part of a guy's career, and that's how you work in a salary cap league. But I also look at some of the other teams that sat on their hands, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Lions, the Packers, the Buccaneers, all these teams that have legitimate Super Bowl aspirations. The Colts said, how often are we going to be 7-2? How often are we going to be tied for the best record in football, halfway through the season? Let's go for this thing. He's still a young player, so they're going to get a lot of years out of him. I like the move from the Colts, and yes, I think that, look, why not? Why can't the Colts be a Super Bowl contender? They play in the weakest division out of the AFC North, but the AFC North is not a threat to get the number 1 seed. They play in an easier division than the East or the West. Why can't the Colts kind of just sneak into the number 1 seed in the AFC? If you do that, you're 2 home games away from the Super Bowl. And you got the best running back in football. You got a quarterback playing at a really high level, good offensive line, and now your defense got a lot better, too. So, yeah, I think the Colts they should absolutely feel today like, hey, we can go win this thing. Why not?
Okay, speaking of a team hard to read, you say the Broncos are hard to read. I get it. I can't read the Packers. They're favored against the Eagles Monday Night Football, and they just lost to the Panthers at home. I don't get the Packers. What do you think of them?
Wrong team's favorite on Monday night, I'll tell you that. The Eagles are a better team. Like, we are still kind of holding on to this notion that we had early in the season with the Packers, who came out and just blasted the Lions in Week 1. Looked really good in Week 2. I was among the people saying this is the best team in football. Like, wow, look at what we've seen. Since then, they've been okay. They've been fine. Like, the only time they've really looked elite was the second half against the Steelers. The rest of the time, they're either struggling with the Cardinals or losing to the Panthers as a 13-point favorite or losing to the Browns or letting the Cowboys tie them. It just has not been a great team. It's just not. We got to come to grips with the fact that this is not a great football team right now. They could get there. They got the talent for it. They got the roster for it. But as we sit here, I mean, two of the worst losses in the NFL this entire season have been with the Packers, and to the Browns and the Panthers. Like, if you're listing what are the worst losses of this entire NFL season, you go by point spread or whatever you want to go by. The Packers have 2 of them, and it's just weird. They beat every team last year they should have beat. If you go back and look at their season last year, won every single game they should have won. Literally, it's hard to do, and they did it. They lost every single game to an elite team. They were 0-6 against the Vikings, Lions, and Eagles last year. So this season has kind of been like, they're not even, aside from the Lions Week 1, they're not even beating the elite teams anymore, and they're now beating the bad teams. So I'm kind of down on the Packers. There's got to be more from them. And the Tucker Kraft injury is huge. Like, he was legitimately their number 1 option in the passing game, and now he's gone. So I don't think it gets better for the Packers without their top receiving option. It's just been a really kind of disappointing start for the Packers, which is weird considering how good they looked in the first 2 games.
Frank Schwab on tonight, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Is YahooSports.com NFL writer. Frank, last one. Did the Vikings save their season? Can they save their season? McCarthy got enough done. They beat the Lions, huge win. So they've beaten the Bears, the Lions on the road. Now it's the Ravens. Can the Vikings save this?
And they saved it for now, and I think that Ravens-Vikings game is tremendously interesting for both sides because it kind of feels like a crossroads for both teams. The Ravens, they saved their season too. I mean, you go out, you look good against the Dolphins when you get Lamar back. The week before that, they beat the Bears with Tyler Huntley. But you can't take a step back. You've dug yourself so big a hole, you can't take a step back. And it's similar with the Vikings. If they just lose to the Ravens on Sunday and fall back to 4-5, well, what are you? Like, are we serious around here or not? So I think one of these teams is going to feel, okay, we're on track. If it's the Vikings and you win back-to-back games against the Lions and Ravens and make them 5-4, you feel pretty good about yourself. You feel like, hey, we won 14 games last year, and now we're kind of back on track, and we got some stability at quarterback, and let's go forward. If you're the Ravens, and if you look at the Ravens' schedule, they might be favored in every single game the rest of the year. They really might. They're 4.5-point favorites on Sunday. There's not many tough games left on the Ravens' schedule. If you can go into Minnesota and win that game, we might run the table here. We're going to hunt down the Steelers. We're going to go into the January being the team nobody wants to play. So I think it's a crossroads game for both teams. And I don't know how to call it. I think it's a really, really good football game. I think the Vikings are getting way too many points. They're getting no respect on the betting line at all. The Vikings are well coached, good defense. As long as J.J. McCarthy does his job, they absolutely can get back in this thing. But I do think you need to beat the Ravens at home. That's a kind of game where I can't say I expect them to win or anything like that, but if we're going to take it seriously, getting back in this thing and making the playoffs and all that, it's not by losing to the Ravens to fall back to 4-5. Like, you need to have a signature win like that after beating the Lions, another signature win to kind of go forward and say, yeah, we're contenders, not just for a wild card, but maybe to even win the NFC North.
Big one, U.S. Bank Stadium coming up Sunday in Minnesota. Ravens come to town. Frank Schwab is on tonight. Thursday night football, Broncos Raiders get it going tomorrow night. Find them at yahoosports.com and on X at Yahoo Schwab. Frank, always great. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, Nate. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Frank Schwab is in. That's NFL, yahoosports.com. National writer here on the Nate Brown Show. It's a 5 questions from Chris Day. You want to hear my answers, right? Let's see if I can get them. Chris, you got tough questions tonight coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterPark.com.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling collector signs and banners from Rice Motorsports in Rapid City. Now, 100% of the proceeds are going to YFS Girls Inc. and the Club for Boys in Rapid City. Selling collector Victory motorcycle banners, leather jackets, shop shirts, Victory showroom displays, signs including the Victory signs on display at the former Rice location on Campbell Street in Rapid City. Auction begins to close at 6 p.m. For more details and to bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold I-CAR certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Out here, we have a deeper connection to the land, a stronger connection to our neighbors, standing on our own 2 feet while also working together. The power to do more connects us all. At member-owned West River Electric Association, it's all of us working together to make today and tomorrow better. This is Co-op Country.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, we are rolling on a Wednesday night. The Nate Brown Show is live. Thanks for checking in tonight. However you're listening, we appreciate it on Fox Sports Radio on your drive home across South Dakota. Also on X, at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show. Watch us live on X, at Nate Brown Show. Remember the Nate Brown Show podcast as well. If you missed some of the guests, we had Tyler Merriam tonight. Always great. Voice of the Jackrabbits. Tyler Merriam. Touchdown, Tyler, tonight. Good stuff. The Nate Brown Show podcast is up on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Search The Nate Brown Show, and then you've got South Dakota Sports Talk right there. Okay, are we ready for this tonight? It's Wednesday. It is time for...
It's time for 5 questions from Chris on The Nate Brown Show.
All right, thank you very much. 5 questions from Chris, our loyal listener. Question number 1. Nate, with the news of the FBI charging current and former NBA players in the rigged gambling stuff and player prop bets, are owners of the teams in pro sports creating conflicts of interest with having ownership in some of these gambling sites? Some of the owners of pro sports franchises own stake in DraftKings, etc. Is that a conflict of interest? Well, kinda. But you know how it goes. Wherever you can make money, you just make money, don't you? I mean, nobody cares. It's like, oh, I own 5% of this, 5% of that. No big deal. We just make money. You know how it is, Chris. You know how it is. It's not great, but they're not going to stop owners from getting stakes in gambling sites and stuff. No. Question number 2. Speaking of the sports gambling theme, with the pro leagues, they sell their real-time player data to sport betting sites. Should the sports leagues demand that those sites stop the player prop bets to keep the integrity of the game? I think the player prop bets are not great. I will tell you that. I'm a sports bettor. I like sports betting. I do not do the player prop bets. I've just never been interested in those. But there's so many guys that are doing the FanDuel, the DraftKings, the everything. The player prop bets are dicey. The only thing you can do, Chris, hear me out. I would not do the unders anymore. That's where all these scandals are, is player pulls himself out of the game, doesn't get as many rebounds, doesn't get as many assists, whatever it is. They can do the under and rig it. If you do the over performance, nobody's going to really care, right? That's the sports. Oh, he played a great game. So player prop bets can survive over bets. The under player props, I don't like at all. Question number 3. Which game of the World Series was better? The 18-inning marathon Game 3 or the extra inning showdown Game 7 and the Dodgers winning it? You got to go Game 7. That was a massive audience, one of the best audiences in baseball. What was it, over 30 years? It was a massive audience. So that 18-inning thing was okay. I was sleeping. It was a weeknight. So the Game 7, for the stakes, for the type of game it was, how the Dodgers came back, and how that thing finished out, that was high drama. That was one of the best I've seen, I'd say, in my life. I mean, I understand there's been some great series, but that Game 7 is one of the best finishes I've seen since I've watched baseball. That was the best. Question number 4. A small market baseball general manager has been quoted saying the Dodgers are the best thing to happen to baseball in the last 10 years. But there's also people saying owners are going to use the Dodgers' payroll as the reason to push for a spending cap. Now that the Dodgers have won the World Series, Nate, should we expect a lockout in baseball after next season? Well, I don't know how much that's going to play in, but by all accounts, you're hearing about these owners, and they can't figure things out. Nobody's going to get along with the players again. The players don't want a salary cap. Some of the owners do want a salary cap, and it looks like it's going to get ugly. I just leave it to baseball. You're at a high again. It's not like the 1990s high, but you're at a high again. It sounds like a lockout might be coming. By the way, the WNBA might screw it up too. By the way, they're at a high. They might screw it up. Baseball lockout after next season might be coming from what I've seen. Question number 5. 5 questions from Chris. Here it is. Who is the leading player in the NFL for your MVP? Is it Daniel Jones for the Colts? Thanks for that laugh, Chris. Chris, you delivered us some great gift today. Our loyal listener, Chris, delivered from Wisconsin, Spotted Cow beer. That's great beer. Great. So that's a great gift. But this last question, Daniel Jones? I hate to tell everybody, the MVP, 17 touchdowns. He's got a 98 rating. He's got over 2,000 yards. Who is it? He's just getting good again. The MVP right now, Patrick Mahomes. He would be even better if not for that bad game last week against the Bills. It's stinking Mahomes right now. I don't know if he will be at the end. It's Mahomes right now. Even through all the injuries and everything else, he's still got really good numbers. It's Mahomes. Too bad. 5 questions from Chris in the books. Marcus Traxler's in next. Talking high school football Friday night semifinal. Who goes to the Dome? Marcus Traxler with the Mitchell Republic coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Connect Home Center has been proud to serve Rapid City and Spearfish with quality products and customer service that you can trust. In 2000, Connect joined the Mead Lumber family, and now they're taking the next step into their journey. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name from design to finish. Mead Lumber is here for you, as they've always been. MeadLumber.com.
Being in business has its rewards as well as its challenges. It means being the first one in the door in the morning and turning off the lights when you leave at night. Your business is unique, and you need a bank that understands your needs. You deserve the best. You need a financial partner that is invested in your success. You need Pioneer Bank and Trust. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on a Wednesday. We're wrapping up tonight with a high school football semifinal preview. He covers high school sports, does a really good job. Mitchell Republic's Marcus Traxler. Friday night semifinal night across South Dakota, and he's here on the Nate Brown Show. Find him on X at Marcus Traxler. Marcus, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man. We're down to it. Semifinal night, the Dome's coming up. I want to get your read on a few matchups. I'm going to start in 11AA. This is a class that's been dominated by Pierre for a long time. Now it's maybe the best class week to week that we've seen upsets, and this team win and that team win. Would it be crazy if Sturgis beat Yankton again? Sturgis already beat Yankton. Can they do it again?
I mean, I think by the definition of crazy, probably not. They've done it already, like you said. They played great in that game that was out in Sturgis probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. And so certainly they can do it again. I think Yankton has figured some things out. Since that time period, they've probably been the best-looking 11AA team since then. But, you know, I think you can make an argument for any of the 4 teams that are left to win this week and potentially win next week at the Dome.
Okay, here's how I see that Pierre-Huron game. Huron beat Pierre earlier, same type of deal. That kind of put Huron on the map. As you've seen Pierre, have they gotten as good as it seems as this season has gone along? Maybe they're not the same Pierre, but is Pierre dangerous right now Friday?
Absolutely. I think they've scored 40 points in 4 straight games. They've figured some stuff out offensively, been a little bit more wide open in terms of throwing the ball. I believe they made a change at quarterback. And so they are probably, they've made a huge change compared to the last time that they played Huron. And Huron, I mean, they were one of the teams I really liked leading up to the last couple weeks of the season. And they have just really struggled offensively, only had the 7 points last week against Brookings and was able to advance. But their defense is going to have to get it done for them, much like it did the first time when they won the game, essentially on a pick 6 in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Okay, you look at this matchup. Would you favor Pierre? How do you see it with Huron struggles?
Yeah, I think Pierre's probably the favorite here. And, I mean, Huron's going to have to find a way to – they're going to have to find a way to score 20, 28 points to win this game, and they have really struggled to do that against a lot of the competition here in the second half of the season.
Marcus Traxler on tonight, covers high school sports for the Mitchell Republic, part of Forum Communications. They do a good job. They've been covering Midwest Sports Plus high school games all season long. How about AAA? So we've been on this collision course, Brandon Valley, Sioux Falls, Lincoln. I'm going both with Brandon Valley and Sioux Falls, Lincoln, but I'll start with Lincoln Jefferson. Is this a tight one? They played earlier, really tight. Can Lincoln hold off Jefferson?
I think they can, but Jefferson has looked great the last 4 weeks or so. Beating Harrisburg, beating Brandon Valley, did not have a close game last week with Washington, a team that also took a step forward this season. So they're looking great. They seem to be a team that's improving every week. But Lincoln's offense is so good. I think it's going to be, if they're able to score like they have been, they're going to be a tough out for anybody. And just because Lincoln's been so good all year, I'm sticking with Lincoln here in this one.
Okay, you're going to go to Lincoln as well. I am too. Harrisburg, can they test Brandon Valley? Is Brandon Valley the team to beat, even though they did get knocked off?
I think they are. I mean, they obviously started the season 8-0. They did beat Harrisburg a few weeks ago 24-0, and I don't think Harrisburg necessarily has the offensive firepower to stick with Brandon Valley. I also think Brandon Valley is getting a little healthier. They had that stretch there where I believe they beat Lincoln without a few of their key players. So assuming that those guys are getting healthy, assuming that they're going to be in the mix here in these final 2 weeks of the season, I think Brandon Valley is the team to beat. But there's no question that whoever they end up facing next week in the Dakota Dome, it's going to be a dogfight.
All right. 11A has been Sioux Falls Christian just dominating. And it doesn't seem like anybody's put up a test. I don't know if anybody will. There's been a discussion this week about Sioux Falls Christian and how they dominate in all sports markets, in a ton of sports. Is there a real discussion that Sioux Falls Christian should be looked at to move up? How do you see that?
I tend to not think that you should, anybody else should be forcing a team up a class, essentially against their will. Yes, they have been dominant. They have advantages that other schools don't have. You look at the enrollment numbers, it's not particularly close with where they're at in 11A to the threshold to go to 11AA. But there's no question you could put Sioux Falls Christian in 11AA, and they'd be one of the top three teams at worst. So, I think there's an argument to be made. I know you follow some of the soccer stuff in the state. They moved up to AA in boys soccer. I think some of that was just this year they were better than every team in Class A. I think they won 5 or 6 titles in a row. So, I don't know. Maybe they're the ones that are going to have to make that decision. Of course, there's bigger topics about there, the success factor and that sort of thing. If there's a objective formula out there that, mandates a team move up, I think that's fine. But I think just arguing this team wins too much, I don't necessarily buy that as an argument.
Sioux Falls Christian has been winning in 11A, the favorite to win there. We'll see how 11A goes. They've been dominant. I want to go with 11B before.
We have to point out they didn't win it last year. We were in the same situation last year. We thought they were going to win the whole thing, and Lennox gave up 6 points in 3 games in the playoffs and won it. I don't think Lennox is that team this year. I don't think there's a team like that in this class, but. Just for the sake of transparency, we thought that was maybe the case last year, and they didn't end up winning it all.
11B, I've got St. Thomas More getting it done over Clark Willow Lake and Elk Point Jefferson. Do you see that?
Yeah, I think EPJ and St. Thomas More are the two best teams left. I think St. Thomas More was able to find another gear to put away Mount Vernon Plankinton last week. I think Clark Willow Lake's a very solid team. If they can, you're one game away from the Dome. I got to think they're going to throw everything they can at St. Thomas More, but I think this has been building for quite a while. I think St. Thomas More has won 18 of their last 19 games, something like that. So they are primed. I think we're going to have those two teams in the Dome next week.
The run through the 11-man playoffs, semifinal night coming up for all teams. Friday, Marcus Traxler covering it with the team. Sports editor Mitchell Republic. The guys at Midwest Sports Plus and Forum do a great job. Marcus, thanks for hopping in. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Marcus Traxler, follow him at Marcus Traxler on X if you're on there, and find him at the Mitchell Republic and on the Sports Lounge on Midwest Sports Plus. The Nate Brown Show tonight. Wrapping it up. That's it. Tyler Merriam was on tonight. Voice of the Jackrabbits. We got Jacks Yotes Saturday. Lee Sterling gave us some picks for the weekend from Paramount Sports. Frank Schwab breaking down the NFL and some big games for the Vikings, Broncos, and Marcus Traxler moments ago. Sports editor Mitchell Republic just wrapped it up tonight. Busy week. Find all of those guests on the Nate Brown Show podcast. We'll put it up right after the show as we wrap up now. We're out tomorrow. Wish me luck. Las Vegas might do some winning. We'll see. Wish me luck. Enjoy high school football this week. and the Jackson Yotes Saturday. We will be back on Monday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show. Thanks for listening. The podcast going up now.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further.